What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Maverick Raven coming at you with another video, guys. And got some news, man. There's a lot of protesting going on, dude, and it's not all ending well. It says Columbia students escorted from Butler Library in handcuffs after short-lived occupation. Gaza protesters, with their faces fully covered in keffiyehs, occupied the library until they were cleared by public safety officers. So we're gonna get into this article. It's by the Post Millennial, and it's not looking good, man. It's not looking good. At this point, I don't know if these people are doing it to be like ceremonial or just like one gigantic virtue signal, or if they really believe it. Chances are they really believe it. But the thing is that the situation in the Middle East is really complicated. So we're gonna get into this, but before we do, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. All that stuff really helps out the channel grow. We'd love to see you be the newest member of the flock. The flock is for life. So come check us out, guys. The air is for everyone. Now, this is during finals week, at the university. Don't really think there's much of a difference. Maybe there's the distinction, if you're a university over a college. But it says about 100 student protesters on Wednesday afternoon took over Columbia University's Butler Library, bringing signs chanting, their faces and heads covered in keffiyehs, preventing students from studying during the crucial end finals period. Another 100 were outside trying to get in to use the library for study. See, your rights to be yourself and do whatever the hell you want stop when those rights interact with my rights. Now we need, like, community rights, right? Now we need to act in the name of what is acceptable by the community. If you guys are just in there on a library and you're protesting, I get it, bro. But I don't think the issue is black or and white over there in the Israel Palestine conflict, dude. Because on one hand, they'll say that the Muslims of Gaza, this land was stolen from them by Israel, by Israel or whatever, and then Israel is just still going at it because of October 7th or whatever. And then, when you say, well, the October 7th attack, was out of line, and then they'll tell you, well, the occupation in Gaza is out of line. It's like, dude, because it's so complicated. Nobody is accepting these people that are living on the Gaza Strip. No country wants to accept them. And I know that Israel in the past has made overtures to try to accept these people, and they always get shot down because of, terrorist organizations that, in my opinion, do not have the best interest of their community at large, bro. You'll see on movies or on TV shows, whatever, that the mafia is selling drugs and pimping women and all this in that neighborhood. But everybody in the neighborhood loves them because they bring business and they feed kids or whatever. Dude, two things can exist at once. The mafia can be doing a net positive, right, for the community. Well, I shouldn't say a net positive, but a positive for the community by feeding their kids and giving toys or helping the homeless in the community, whatever. That's obviously a positive. But what about all the stuff that the mafia does in that neighborhood to literally just basically prey upon the people of that neighborhood? And outside the neighborhood or whatever, that's why sometimes people will take a gang or a mob in their neighborhood because to them it's worth it, But what's happening in Gaza right now, I don't see how it's worth it. I really don't. Because at this point, it's like no side wants to budge. And someone is gonna have to budge. Excuse me. I was getting caught up between budge and bend, but I don't know, man. Someone's gonna have to budge. I don't know if it's gonna be bend so much, but it says Columbia University administrators were quick to quell the protest, which marks a stark difference from last spring, when student protesters and outside agitators set up a Gaza camp in the Quad. took over an administrative building, prevented students from attending class, menaced and threatened Jewish students, and brought campus life to a halt. It does seem that when this type of stuff happens, it's always one-sided. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's overwhelmingly the left that is with these protests against Israel. Now, don't get me wrong, bro. I have kind of, I think they call it what J-pilled or whatever, because you get like kind of disillusioned with the situation in Israel, and you kind of get disillusioned over the fact that we as a country, the United States, I mean, give them so much aid. You know, are they reciprocating in any way? Are we getting anything out of this deal? It's the thing is that it's an important, you need a foothold in that area. So Israel's important. You know, we have history with the country. We've done a lot for the country. I'm learning all sorts of things that we do for Israeli immigrants, or Israeli citizens, I should say. You know, some of the talking points are that are presented against it. You know, the United States being the benefactor of Israel. Some people really protest against that, and they say, you know, things like I heard, I still haven't researched this, but supposedly if you're an Israeli citizen and you come over here, you literally get put to the tippy top of the organ donor lists. I don't see how that could be true, but I've read about other things that then I end up researching, and a lot of them end up being true. So I don't know, man. Like, it's hard. History has always been written by the victor, right? And revisionist history has always been a thing. But I think we're living in such a dangerous age with the misinformation and the disinformation going on, man. When the early days after the October 7th attack happened, I was like, man, poor Israelis. But then you get videos showing what some of the Israelis were supposedly doing to the Gaza Strip, citizens. And, well, it wouldn't be fair to call them citizens because they're just inhabiting, right? And they don't have a country to call their own, which sucks, man. It sucks, dude. It really sucks. So as I was saying, menaced and threatened Jewish students and brought campus life to a halt. Minnesota Rep. Ilhan Omar and her daughter joined the protests, and her daughter was suspended. I don't agree with that. I really don't agree with that. But whatever. The school was impotent to put a stop to it and eventually called in the NYPD to clear the building. And let me be clear. Let me clarify my position. I don't think that Ilhan Omar has any business there, because yes, her daughter goes to that school, but her presence is just going to inflame and exacerbate an already big problem. You know, a lot of people don't like her, and the people that are for her are just going to be emboldened by her presence, and it's just not good, bro. It's just not good. And then you call in the police, and the police can't really do much, man. As a former law enforcement officer, if you're showing up and there's 10 of you and 100 of them, what are you going to do, bro? What are you going to do? You know, at that position, if they get violent with you, you're literally allowed to, lawfully, you're allowed to probably shoot them, right? And I'm not giving legal advice or anything, but if you're there and you're 10 police officers in and there's 100 violent protesters, lawfully the 100 person mob attacking the police officers, they are legally putting their lives, they're forfeiting their lives. But can you imagine the stink that would make if 10 officers killed 100 people, even though they were being attacked, even though anything, dude? I say all that to say this. In my experience, when police officers are so outnumbered like that, we tend to withdraw, kind of cordon off the area, set up a perimeter, create a mobile command center, and then from there you got to bring in officers from every agencies that are nearby, including maybe even federal. You know, the FBI might take it over, or a state marshal might come for that. Almost never, but you know, you never know. I'm talking about like a serious situation, like what happened in Seattle, in 2020, was it? I think it was in 2020. What basically when the Summer of Love riots were going on, right, which was 2020, I think. Dude, nobody could stop that, you know. And then as a police officer, you feel bad because you want to protect your community. Almost every police officer lives in the community they police, but there's nothing you can do, bro. Like, what are you gonna do? You can't stop them by normal means. You can't put your hands on them because then you're just gonna get mobbed by the mob. So it's just nuts, bro. It's just absolutely nuts. It says the aftermath of that mess led to the resignation of the school's president as well as the interim president who came after, and the suspension of $400 million in federal funding that was frozen by the Trump administration. Barnard college student Shoshana Alcian, my apologies for any type of mispronunciation there, shared footage from inside Butler Library as students stormed in with banners shouting "Free Palestine." Students attempting to study looked on helplessly as they were essentially barricaded by the student protesters and prevented from doing their work. Let's see if we can. I'm gonna check this out real quick here. What does that chant even mean, bro? It literally means. Look, listen to this part. No, not that part. I don't even understand what the hell they're saying. I don't know what they want, bro. Like, they just want to be left alone by Israel to just do whatever the hell they want, and Israel just give up the land. I mean, that's been talked about in the past. It never goes anywhere. That's why this is such a complex solution, because both sides have like this. It's seemingly mercurial nature where they just go back and forth, and their temperament changes. You know, like, I wouldn't say at the drop of a hat, but damn near close. Says Austin reported that protesters have completely occupied the main reading room of Butler Library. This is the main library on campus and sits at the south end of the quad. Reporting live from Columbia, where's public safety? Protesters have completely occupied the main reading room of Butler Library. 5 seconds. Well, see, at this point, they're taking over a library. At this point, that, to me, should not be allowed. Move them the fuck outside, bro. You know? Literally, and honestly, if it was me on the board of directors there, I would be like, bro, just get them off the fucking property, dude. Like, you don't have a God-given right to protest and disrupt the lives of all of these people trying to study and just get by and you know, make good grade. Like, dude, that really is such a pain in the ass. Says officials had initially tried to keep the protesting mob from storming into the building. See, it's that type of shit, bro. That's happening now. Students are trying to storm Butler Library, Columbia. Let's hope public safety can successfully keep them out this time around. Let's see. And then you got And then you got people on the, on seemingly behind the wherever this camera is filming, shouting, "Leave them alone, bro! They're about to come in and do stupid shit." Insane, you guys. Freaking insane. Eyal Jacoby shared footage of protesters with covered faces banging on drums and creating severe disturbance. And then Eyal tweeted, Max terror supporters have taken over the Columbia Library while students are trying to study for finals. Columbia proves once again they prioritize complete chaos over an education. See, that's what I'm talking about, bro. Like, you're there to learn. It's a business, yeah, but you're there to basically invest in your future. And these people are just being a pain in the ass, bro. Like you hear kids say now, read the room. Read the room, bro. Like, we're trying to fucking study here and pass. Look at stupid shit. Never thought I would say I miss, like, the hippie culture, bro. Never thought I would say that. I got no problem with hippies. They kind of bother me because the stereotype and from what I've seen, with hippies, is to complain about everything but offer zero solutions, like real solutions, like solutions you could actually implement today or tomorrow or next week. I've never actually seen a hippie propose like real solutions. But their peace and love mantra, if in a different world, would be beautiful. And I love the idea of it. I just don't think it's real, But damn, do I miss hippies. It better than this shit. 100 times better than this shit. At least the hippies would, probably not be doing it inside a library to take it over and shit. She reported that public safety officers are standing by. Protesters are chanting Min el Maye lel Maye Palestine Arabiye. I'm so sorry. I don't speak whatever that is, Farsi maybe. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be Arab. See, that is the type of shit that I'm talking about when I'm saying that they typically call for violence. They typically call for violence with these protests. Because you're literally saying that you're going to take Israel over. You're going to take either all of their territory or a huge chunk. From the river to the sea. What the fuck else are they talking about? If not to literally take over Israel. They're draping banners from the bookshelves, distributing stickers and pamphlets, glorifying October 7th, and vandalizing Butler Library. Now, bro, not to get into it like this, because, I really have gotten a little disillusioned with Israel. I really have, dude. Like, they've killed a lot of civilians. And I know that these civilians are being used, as shields by these terrorists, but still, man, like... And I know that, the propaganda from Israel is that they're not doing too bad on the civilian to enemy combatant kill ratio or whatever. But it's like... I don't know, man. I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy. None of the protesters have been removed. It's reading week, and they're harassing and forcing out students who were peacefully studying. Public safety officers are standing by. Protesters are chanting Mil el Maye lel Maye Palestine Arabiye. I don't know, man. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be Arab. They're draping banners from the bookshelves, distributing stickers and pamphlets, glorifying October 7th. And let's see what else it says. Ooh, gotta get to X now. Wonderful Spectrum Internet. Says none of the protesters have been removed. Why are you showing that? Alright, so apparently it just takes me to the lady's main Twitter. And then this here. You guys gotta look at this. This is like they are keeping people out. If I can get it, there we go. Let me get myself out of here. See, it doesn't look good when your side literally takes over a peaceful place. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no heroism here. And I know that a lot of this is just virtue signaling and going along with the crowd. And it's bullshit, bro. As students wait outside unable to enter the building, public safety officers declared that the occupying students would be arrested for trespassing if they refused to show their identification. See, why are you acquiescing to these people? Just arrest them if they don't get out, and give them a certain amount of time. If they don't get out in that time, arrest them. The hell with it. The establishment of a public safety force on campus was a condition of the Trump administration, which made several demands of the school before they would even consider the restoration of funds. In recent days, the school has fired some 180 researchers, claiming that the loss of funding forced determinations. They're probably, researching some really stupid stuff. Public safety says they'll arrest any protesters who refuse to exit and present ID. They should have done that the second the protest started. So that's what the post-millennial meant. The officer's talking, and the other person from the protesters is blaring on their own bullhorn. I hope that, she was just translating what he said, maybe in Farsi or whatever, but if not, then not cool for them, bro. Not cool on them. Because she's literally making it so that people can't hear the police officer talking. Public safety won't let protesters exit without presenting ND. They're now in a standoff. Oh, shit. It says the chanting and stamping continued despite the threats of arrest. Oh, for the love. Why? Ugh, I am so sorry, folks. Okay. Protesters tried to stampede through public safety officers to get out the door without being identified or arrested. Look at this. If they are a law enforcement agency, they have the right to ask you for your ID after you have literally put yourself in this position. They are there on official business. They are acting in a lawful way from what I see so far, basically trying to make sure that everybody gets ID'd. If they're law enforcement officers, they could be just arresting you for resisting without. Here, I don't know how it is in other states, but bro, here in Florida, resisting without is super broad. Like literally, even if I know that it's resisting without arrest, resisting without violence. I'm sorry, resisting arrest without violence. But technically, here we just call it resisting without, right? Because literally, all it is if you make the police officer take one extra step, or if you try to make the officer deviate. As an example, these are just like little examples. If you are basically refusing to give your ID, that he's giving you a lawful command because you put yourself in this position with this protest. And now he got the call, and now he has to investigate to make sure that everybody is okay, has no warrants. You know what I'm saying? That's just officer safety 101 and law enforcement 101, bro. That's just fundamental shit, bro. The fuck is that? No respect, bro. No respect. By the looks of it, there's teachers there too. Let us go. Why'd you come here? Let us go. That seemed like an anti-Semitic drawing I saw, like a caricature of the typical Jewish person or whatever. Hold on. Right here. The fuck is that? No. It looks like a terrorist. Yeah, it looks like a terrorist. My bad. I thought it was like one of those old school caricatures. Some not no so old school, I should say. They're keeping us here. You shouldn't start shit. Shouldn't start shit. The reaction from university administrators was different than that the students experienced in 2024. Instead of allowing the occupation to drag on, public safety officers arrested students and led them out of the building in handcuffs. Awesome. A pro-Palestinian protest at Columbia University saw students occupy a room inside the Butler Library on Wednesday evening. Carly Bond says
Palestinian protesters have
we're not going to watch all of this.
University's Butler Library.
Okay, Fox 5's Linda Schmidt's live outside the campus in Morningside Heights. Linda, what's the situation like right now?
Okay, it's one of those typical situations that we have seen many times before here at Columbia since last spring. But David, I want you to just pan over here so we can see a whole big group of police officers. Do me a favor, just slide out.
There's not even that many protesters outside.
Lots of NYPD gathered here
at that time, anyways.
Butler Library here on the campus of Columbia University, as well as campus security.
Okay, so to be fair, 100 people is a big mob, but it's not that big of a protest, you know? Not especially not for Columbia's freaking student population. There's no way, dude. Columbia issued a statement that was unequivocal in its condemnation, saying it is completely unacceptable that some individuals are choosing to disrupt academic activities as our students are studying and preparing for final exams. These disruptions of our campus and academic activities will not be tolerated. Individuals found to be in violation of university rules and policies will face disciplinary consequences. At least 2 Columbia University students, a recent grad, have been slated for deportation by the Trump administration over their anti-Semitic on-campus activities. I don't know who they're talking about there, but whatever. Their cases are both currently moving through the courts. Unless you're talking about that, I'm not going to even try to pretend to say his name, dude. The guy that's married to an American citizen. At the height of the student protests, the leader of Palestinian terror group Hamas thanked the student protesters, calling them the student flood on American college campuses for aiding in their efforts to eradicate Israel. It's all about hate of Israel, dude. And the thing is that it's hard. Dude, there's been so many valid criticisms of Israel that I've had. So many valid criticisms of their actions since October 7th, 2023. Dude, it's hard to keep pointing the finger at Israel when you've got groups like Hamas coming out and backing you up and basically like saying, good job, bro, you're doing our job for us. Or you're doing a part of our job for us. It's insane. So yeah, dude, the terror attack carried out by Hamas against Israel on October 7th, 2023 was called the Al-Aqsa Flood. And they're calling it the student flood. How convenient, right? I don't know, man. You guys let me know down below. What do you guys think? That comment section's there for a reason. Please use it. We'd love to hear from you guys. Any suggestions or anything that you want me to check on the channel, we'll totally check that out. This is just an issue that we need to know about, and we need to basically push for a compromise that will be hopefully leading towards everlasting peace. At this point, I don't know, man. I don't know if such a thing exists. That might not be here. That might be naivete speaking. So, but let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. As always, guys, I love you guys very much. You guys mean the world to me. Even you haters, man, that you guys have nothing but nasty shit to say. You guys keep checking out my videos, and I appreciate that, man. It's nice to be hated for some reason. I don't know why, but you can't hate me more than I hate myself. So you lose. But yeah, man. Anyways, you guys stay safe and stay based.